So we're about to enter into the post-screening discussion, which means it is being recorded. In a minute, we'll put in a link as to where you can watch it later. But this also means that everybody who has access to their monitor, we gave you access to put your video on and your voice so that we can have an interactive dialogue. From there, I'm going to hand this over to our moderator, Michelle Proctor. Thank you, Michelle.
So good to see you all again. I saw most of you 2 weeks ago, Thursday, right? So exciting. While I'm introducing myself, I want to just cue people up in Mrs. Cuffey's room. If we could have people who are willing to come up and give us their thoughts on the film, maybe we can get one or two of them like coming up and getting ready for that. And I'll just give a brief introduction to myself. My name is Michelle Proctor, and I had the opportunity of talking to most of you last year for Day of the Girl. But for those that I haven't met, I started my career in 1992 when an awesome individual from my school, such as Mr. Reed here, came to me and told me about an opportunity that NASA had down at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, where they were looking for young females to fill a pipeline in engineering. And they were basically looking for women who had the aptitude to become engineers. So at the age of 17, I went on an interview, and unbeknownst to me, I got the job, and it started me in a 30-year successful career in STEM. And I love talking to young women about my roadmap, because I just want to inspire you to consider the art of the possible. And with that, we know we only have about 24 minutes worth of time to have a fruitful discussion, and we want you to be a part of that. So Mrs. Cuffey, is there someone in your room that wants to start us off and tell us basically your feelings about the movie? What resonated most with you?
Hi, I'm Sophie Summer. I'm a junior here. And I like this film a lot, quite honestly. I enjoyed how throughout the film it like gave inspiring tactics, but like wasn't unrealistic in the process. It was still like very much willing to tell you what you're going to have to go through, but saying in a way that it was worth going through. And I enjoyed that a lot. I also liked how it addressed like adding girls only sections into like real life, because as somebody at a girls only school, when we reach our junior year, we transfer into a co-ed college environment. So I transferred into that this year. And I really resonated with that, because having to like learn to interact with men was something I was able to do after I had learned to be honest and to be aggressive and to be all of those things. So my question is, I'm very much interpreted as a very honest and brash person in my daily life, because I say what I'm not afraid to say what I mean to people. And sometimes I'm interpreted as rude because of that, even though if like a man said that, it'd be completely normal and even appreciated. So I was wondering, like, how does one cope with being unapologetically honest as a woman?
That is such a good question, Sophie. Ashley, you want to kick us off with first words?
Yeah. So that's my daily life. And I work on set often, and I'm usually the only woman there. So I have to be assertive and get the point across really quickly. There's a piece of it where they may feel you're being aggressive, and that's on them. Like, that's their problem, It's more about like you holding your ground and just saying what needs to be said. I have that insecurity sometimes where I'm like, what if they don't like me? And I try to just like have that go out the window and make sure that my point is coming across and I don't linger, I'm not waiting for them to approve of the statement I said, like, okay, we're going to go do this, let's go. And then we move. Another thing that I do is I show the reverse of it, where if a woman is asking me for something and it comes across as aggressive, I don't react like, oh, she's being aggressive, because I have to show by example as well. So there's like in both directions, standing your ground, saying your point, and moving on. And, there are some elements to, okay, we all have to grow and be better. So if there's somebody that you trust and you say, hey, listen, did I handle that okay? What do you think? And if you start hearing like the same kind of, it really did actually, you did come across a little harsh. Maybe have an honest conversation with a mentor or someone you trust and say, okay, how can I maybe have worded this differently? How can I be better? But I think when you start to go down that spiral, which is what I did before we started making Pioneers of Skirts, that spiral of nobody likes me, I don't understand how I'm supposed to be a leader in this organization or in my career if people just think I'm aggressive all the time. That's where you got to catch yourself and go, well, I know I'm not being aggressive. I know that's a bias, and I'm going to keep moving forward and find my people. Really, you like start to realize the kind of people who are going to be on your side in those kind of situations. But I think talking it out might help you figure out, okay, am I really being aggressive and a jerk? Or is this just a bias? And maybe these people are just not people I'm going to be working with. And I'm fully understand those might be decision makers. And that's why we're trying to get Pioneers and Skirts in front of a lot more people so that they realize women, girls are being told you have to walk this fine line. I'm like, that's exhausting and I'm tired of it. But I hear you. I hear you. So just stand your ground and find support of the people around you.
Yes, I love that, Ashley. And we can always be even better than we are. So being willing to listen to other people's opinion and take it even when it's constructive, it can sometimes be a good thing. Awesome. I also want to just mention that Mrs. Cuffey is taking questions. If you don't feel comfortable getting on camera, you can certainly pass your question to her and she'll ask it on your behalf. So with that, Mrs. Cuffey, is there someone in your room that wants to ask a question?
Yeah, Miriam wants to ask a question.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Hi, I'm Miriam. I'm a 7th grader who goes to school. First and foremost, the movie was really great. I really enjoyed it. I think that more people beyond us should see this movie. It's really inspiring, motivating, and all of it's so true. And I agree with all of it. My question for you guys was, what do you think is the biggest message that students like us should remember from here on out?
Leanne, do you want to jump in?
And to each of us, I think the biggest message is different, maybe, right? To me, the biggest message for the movie is to make sure that everybody watching knows that they're not alone. I felt alone. I'm older than a lot of you. And when I started out my career, the internet was not even heard of. And when I looked at for a job, I had to look in the newspaper. And when I looked in the newspaper, I need you to see what my world was like. When I looked at the newspaper for a job, I had to look at the columns, female jobs and male jobs. If you can understand what that's like to say, oh my gosh, I want those jobs, the jobs where that are offered to men, and know that I can't even apply for them. So when I was going through my career, I felt like I was alone and I felt isolated. And then when we started making this movie, we discovered, Ashley and I both discovered, oh my gosh, this has not changed at all. Nothing's changed. We talked with Michelle. She may want to elaborate a little on her career. But when she entered, she's younger than me, right? So when she entered her career, she felt alone. And then Ashley, who is, and maybe you don't realize, but I'm Ashley's mom. So Miriam, I am Ashley's mom. And when Ashley entered her career, she felt alone. So the number one message that we would love for everybody to get is you're not alone. This happens to all of us. And then walk away knowing that you have the capability and we all have the capability to change ourselves, to change the way we think and the way we look at other people. That's the most important message to me.
So good. So good. And the other thing I love about this film is just viewing it makes us feel like we're in a safe place where we can talk about it. And I love the fact that, I mean, even these 9th, 10th, 11th graders are coming to the table, not afraid to talk about how things like this have impacted them even at such a young age. But we can make a difference. We can make a change. So who's
Michelle,
next? Yes, go
Michelle,
ahead.
we have a question from a 7th grader, Melanie.
Yeah. Whoa.
She wants to know, why did you name, or why did you all name the movie Pioneers in Skirts?
Ooh.
I love it.
Yes.
So it was actually, some people were talking about it in the chat. Do you remember the makeup section where everyone said like, oh, I'm not allowed to wear enough, or I can wear too much? So Pioneers in Skirts, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of name where you can be a pioneer and you can dress feminine if you want. You don't have to wear a skirt, but because so much of the start of my career was telling me how I needed to look. And I couldn't look too pretty. I couldn't do my hair and makeup, you know, how we like to do our nails. Like that was seen as less than, or not good enough, or not strong enough. And it's like, no, I can be all of those things and have my nails done. So that's our tongue-in-cheek way of how we came up with that name. It's also inspired by a photo I saw of a women's group from the 1950s, where one of them had they were like breaking ground on a new location, and they were wearing their Sunday best, you know, their big hats and their pearls, and they had a huge shovel in their hands. So it was like both of those images at the same time made us go pioneers in skirts, because they actually looked like pioneers in skirts. So it took like an overarching name.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else want to give their thoughts on the movie and maybe ask a question? We've got about 12 minutes left. Yes, I see.
Sorry.
Jaden. Yes, very active in the chat. Thank you. Go ahead.
So my name is Jaden Tao. I'm an 11th grader that goes here, and throughout the movie, I saw that y'all had multiple graphs of like the demographic for men versus women, and then y'all dug into the races of each one. So I wanted to know, like, what are you actively doing to advocate for Black women and women of color specifically? Because I'm interested in that, working behind the scenes in entertainment, and I want to, just make sure that I'll be heard, because I want, it's a struggle for women of color to especially be heard over white women and just men in general.
So I know what my journey was me starting out this film had me going, oh, women have it so hard. And then when I saw the numbers, I was like, oh, not as bad. Okay, got it. Like that was like the realization I had to go through, and it helped me become a better ally on the other end. So one thing that I do personally is I always bring it up. I bring it up in every conversation. Oh, women are having such a hard time. I'm like, I know. And then women of color, like it's even a fraction of that. Like, and I make sure I constantly am saying it, constantly reminding people that that is also a part of the conversation. And I know we were having, LGBT community, disability, like I try to bring up that intersectionality as much as I can in conversations, especially because, hey, I'm a white woman. People might listen to me more, which is very frustrating. And I know that. So if I can help, I will try. And that being said, in the film industry itself, we're still pretty backwards in the fact that their attempt to bring in more voices of diversity is creating these fellowships and these programs to get those kind of people hired. And the issue with that is there's 5,000 of us applying for one position in a program. Do you know what I mean? So what I say to you is that's happening, and that's how the film industry thinks they're going to solve it. But you and I know we're only going to solve it if we hire each other. And so on all of the projects moving forward, that is where I'm getting money, and I'm hiring women at their full price. I'm not hiring them for $100 a day, like paying them what they're worth. And then, just making sure everybody realizes, hey, I was on a project just this last week, and it was all these men working on a project that was aimed for women. And I'm like, why? Okay, we're not there yet. We're not quite there yet. So it's just really looking at the hiring practices, and we have to do it for each other.
Yeah, and I'd like to jump in and point out real quick that in the film industry, women are actually required now because the industry is trying to change, and so they've developed these special programs for women. So women are now, their path to becoming a director, their path to getting the gig is actually, you have to apply. Again, there may be like 10 positions within the industry of, hey, apply for this and we'll give you this internship, or we'll give you this training. And then after that, maybe you'll get the job.
Yeah.
So in the industry, 5,000 women are applying for these 10 positions. And then the industry is so scared. They're afraid of making the wrong decision. So they're hiring the same women in all those 10. Now think about the men. The men don't have to apply. They don't have to do any of this to get the gig. So it's still happening today. It's happening across the board. And it's extremely, extremely important to know that the deck is stacked against you. And as Ashley said, and I'm just going to reiterate, we need to support each other in all ways. Stop offering, right? We constantly offer each other, hey, I'll do this and you do this for me. Try to come up with the money to pay that woman that you asked to do the gig for you. Come up with that money, honor her, respect her, because she deserves it.
Whew, so good. So let's move into our last question. We are only 7 minutes before the end of our time, and this is kind of a action-oriented lightning round where I would love for each one of you, who, if you feel comfortable, to say 1 or 2 sentences. What is the one thing from today's event that you wish everyone would do, like right now, and how do you think the world would change if everyone did that? So who wants to kick us off? All right.
I love seeing all the hands go up. That made me so happy. Oh my God.
Yeah, let's unmute yourself. Victoria, you can kick us off, and then Elise, you can go next.
One thing that I wish that people would think about after this is that they're equal to men, and maybe like if they can have that mindset that you can be equal or even better. And I know that when I have that specific mindset that we're all human, we are all capable of the same things, I make a lot more progress in things.
Love that, Victoria. So true. We are all capable. And I'm just going to tell you right now, you deserve a seat at the table, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. Get there, sit at the table. Even if you are 17 years old, you deserve that seat. Elise, you're next.
I feel like something that we all should remember. Is to lift each other up instead of put each other down. Because I feel like sometimes we just like put each other down without realizing it. It could be because of jealousy. I feel like I see that a lot, especially in 6th grade. So I honestly feel like that again, we should lift each other up instead of put each other down.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're speaking to my heart. I love it. I love it. Sophie, you want to go next? And then Jaden, you can go, Sophie. All right.
One thing I learned from this is if you are a woman who is like older in your environment, so like if you're like in a high school and you're on the end of the high school like ride, remember to support the younger women in your environment, like encourage them, offer them help, just because like it has to be a group effort.
So true. Jaden, how about you?
I was going to say that I think that everybody should educate themselves. I think that's very important. I mentioned it in the chat earlier, that it's important to educate yourself and not rely on others to educate you, because like y'all mentioned in the film, there are unconscious biases and you don't know like if you're offending somebody. So I feel like it's important to educate yourself so that you don't run into those issues where you're offending somebody and you don't actively know it.
Ah, so good. And when somebody brings something up, don't be defensive. Just acknowledge it and change your behavior. That's awesome. Anyone else want to give their closing thoughts? Okay, Kayla.
Hello. I think that as women, some of us tend to hinder ourselves from doing things that we can do better, just because men think that we aren't supposed to do those type of things. So for example, like I run track, and I think when I was younger, I thought that um, like being this fast, like is it's not something that I'm supposed to be doing. But I think that as I got older, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can show this off, because just because I am a girl doesn't mean I can't run fast. Or just because like society thinks that we're not supposed to like play sports and all that type of stuff doesn't mean I can't express that. So I just think that we should stop hindering ourselves from doing what we can do, um, just because of like societal conditions.
So good. And just keep in mind, a bird is not showing off when it flies. If you run and you run fast, smoke the guys. Truly, you're not showing off. All right, who's next? All right, Vi.
Hi, my name is V, but it's fine. So I would like to share that, like, as a girl myself, I overthink a lot, and whatever society tells me, like, you're a girl, you can't do that, don't listen to them. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but just think that, like, we're all human, we all make mistakes, so don't listen to them, just listen to yourself. And like the film mentioned, be aggressive, let them think whatever they think. You do you, you be you.
That's right. Oh, okay, Mrs. Cuffey, and then we'll get to closing remarks.
Fantastic film, no question about it. Just so inspiring. I saw so much of myself and people that I know. I just have to say, ladies, thank you for creating this for all of us. Charlotte, a sixth grader, she wants to know, where can she find this movie? Charlotte wants to know where she can find this movie because she wants to share it with others.
We can put that in the chat. I can find that link in just a second. Yep, pioneersandskirts.com. We have it available. It's actually screening on PBS, and it should be on the PBS North Carolina station soon. So we're on all the social media, and it's available online to rent right now. And then we are doing a lot of other events like this, these impact relays, so that we can have watch parties like this. So Leanne has put in the chat, you click on watch the film on the pioneersandskirts.com website. That's the best way to go. And we have many, many ways to watch it. It's so important to us to make sure that this leads to more productive conversations, because, like you all were saying, we have to support each other. We have to realize that what each other's going through is not our fault. There's so much in the world, in the culture, that is telling us we can't do things without even realizing that that's what it's saying. Like, no one's saying, girls can't do this, but they're looking at you and going, oh, you don't know anything about cars, so I'm going to talk to you like you don't know anything about cars, which is very frustrating. I don't know about you guys. So I want you to know that supporting each other is the answer. Looking to each other and realizing, hey, it's exhausting having to do all of this mental energy. It's exhausting. So please support each other. Please, having an all-girls school is fantastic. We know that is a solution to making sure that you build up that mentality. So when you enter into your careers, you're going to have like a step ahead. So I am so honored to be here and so grateful to all of you for showing up. And we're so lucky to have had this opportunity. I know Mr. Reed wants to come in and say some words, but I had to come in and just say, like, this has been so amazing. I'm so grateful for all of you.
First of all, I want to say thank you, Ashley, Leanne, Michelle, Ms. Cuffey, students in the high energy rooms, students at Wilder, to my principal, to everybody. This movie and this discussion could go on forever and ever. That's how impactful it has been. It was so befitting to our theme, your voice, your future. And I want to thank you, ladies, for helping us to continue to help our students to find their voice, because their voice is their future. This has been amazing. I'm a male, but I raised an amazing daughter, and a lot of the stuff that, I mean, I wish she was on the call. Thank you again.
Thank you all. It's been awesome to spend the morning with you. Looking forward to the next time we get to see each other.
And thanks for filling out that impact survey when you get it. And this recording will be available on our YouTube page. All right, enjoy your day.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, everybody.